is Colleen Lemma, Starseed Astrologer and Spiritual Messenger, here with your new Empowered Moments video for the week of Monday, May 16th through Sunday, May 22nd, 2022. So for this week's weekly reading, we're going to be using the Fairy Tarot deck by Radley Valentine for the main message for everyone. And your special message card this week, depending on your stone of choice, will be coming from the Yin Yang Oracle deck by Stellara. So this week we have just come off of a full moon lunar eclipse. Actually, depending on what part or what time zone you are in the world, that full moon lunar eclipse happened on Sunday of last week's video, but in the wee hours of the morning Eastern time on Monday the 16th, which brings us into this video. Not only that, but we also currently have Mercury retrograde right now, and this week it's going to retrograde back from Gemini, sign of the twins, where it went retrograde, back into Taurus. So we're going to start out this week's Empowered Moments video with an empowered moment. So if you could close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths and relax your body. Clear your mind of all thoughts if you can. Focusing on the present moment, the here and now, and visualizing golden white light, universal golden white light of unconditional love and compassion, peace and guidance surrounding you. Take in a deep breath or two and breathe in that golden white light of unconditional love, compassion, peace, and guidance. Breathing it into every cell of your body. And as you exhale, let go of all that your body, mind, and soul no longer needs. And we're now in the aftermath of that full moon lunar eclipse, a cycle of completion, healing, releasing, and letting go of what we no longer need to carry with us, allowing that cycle of change to redirect our lives, allowing those eclipse energies to realign us. And as we're in this Mercury retrograde cycle following this full moon lunar eclipse, it's time to reevaluate, to research, redo all that we're working on, both personally and from a business standpoint. And it's a great time to reevaluate what we no longer need to carry in our lives, the belief systems that we're holding on to, the way of perceiving ourselves in our life. It's time to reevaluate what is no longer in our highest and best interest. So let each and every one of us use this time wisely to surrender, have faith and trust, allow, let go of those energies or situations that we no longer need to carry as we move forward, and to seek the answers during this Mercury retrograde that will lead us to the next steps on our path. Let's take one last deep, healing, cleansing, balancing breath. And as you exhale and you feel ready, you can open your eyes and come back to this present moment. And let's start out this week's video by taking a look at what those stones of choice are before we start talking about the astrological energies a little bit further. So these are new stones that I purchased on my trip to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina recently. I don't know if some of you saw that on Facebook, that I took about 3 days off and drove to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and went to a metaphysical store there for the first time. And the first stone of choice here is red selenite, also called peach selenite, and it definitely looks more peachy in color than it does red, right? So the red selenite or the peach selenite helps us with flexibility and creativity, and it helps us to have a better sense of self-image, And this peach selenite or red selenite is good for business, really good for kind of like bringing in abundance in a business sense. So if you have a business, this might be the stone of choice for you. The second stone of choice, and these are all stones that I have not had up until this point, so they're new for me. This one is called Agni Manatite. Isn't that interesting? Agni Manatite. It's a form of tektite. You can see that it looks like tektite, that kind of black in color. This stone is called the Pearl of Divine Fire. Isn't that interesting? The Pearl of Divine Fire. And this one helps us to strongly activate our solar plexus chakra, which is our center of personal power, right? Where we own our personal power. It helps to raise creative energy and raise the ability to manifest things, and helps to give us strength and confidence. And then the last stone of choice looks like amethyst, but it's actually Synergy 7. Synergy 7. So this one is made up of, you guessed it, 7 different minerals. The Synergy 7 is made up of amethyst, quartz, smoky quartz, cacozenite, if I'm saying that right, rutile, goethite, and lepidocrite. So some of those I haven't even heard of, but those are the 7 things that make up the Synergy 7 stone. And its purpose is to spread enlightenment. It has an overall energy of healing and grounding, helps us to access the spiritual realm, clarity, and helps us with expanding our consciousness. So again, our stones of choice are the red selenite or peach selenite, the Agni Manatite, and the Synergy 7. Okay, so let's talk about the astrology for this week. As I said, on Monday the 16th, first of all, one thing that struck me, you know how I do numerology as well, right? So this week starts out on May 16th, which is a karmic number. 16 is a karmic number in numerology, and it ends on Sunday the 22nd, and the number 22 is a master number in numerology. And I just found that interesting because we're coming off of a full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio, which is pretty powerful. Now, you probably, first of all, felt that full moon lunar eclipse building in its energies. Again, late Sunday or early Monday, depending on where in the world you live, that eclipse happened. But just like a wave, like think of a big wave, a large wave, like a tidal wave. Think of it crashing on the shore. It's like you're kind of anticipating this energy that's coming towards you, and you feel its power and you feel its intensity. But once it crashes on the shore is when you have to deal with the aftermath of whatever that tidal wave, did, whatever, if you want to call it havoc, it wreaked. So as we're moving into this first week after the eclipse, and of course we had that new moon solar eclipse on April 30th, we're now going to see changes start to unfold and happen. So on Monday the 16th, again, early morning Eastern time, just after midnight, is when the eclipse happened, or again, Pacific time, it would have been Sunday night. On Tuesday the 17th, we have Mars, which is right now in Pisces, and Mars is the planet of energy, action, forward movement, and he's known as the warrior, but he's in Pisces right now. So right now he's acting as the spiritual warrior, and as far as forward movement and action, that Pisces energy might be bringing in a sense of confusion a little bit about what direction to take or what decision to make, or things are not as direct and action oriented while it's in Pisces. And that Mars in Pisces on Tuesday is connecting with Neptune in Pisces, which makes it even more elusive, because Neptune rules the spiritual realm, things that are intangible or unseen. It does rule our intuition, and it rules connection to the higher realms. And so Mars can activate that connection to trust and faith and higher wisdom or vision, or again, any of our psychic abilities. But as far as initiating action forward or movement forward, we still might be in this kind of dreamy, ungrounded, unfocused sort of energy there. That happens late Tuesday and into Wednesday, actually. And then on Thursday the 19th, we have the Sun, which is currently in Taurus, grounded, practical Taurus. And it's connecting by a positive trine to Pluto. And Pluto is transformation, regeneration, change, power. And so this can be a very empowering aspect where we're really rising into our power, taking our power back. There might be something related to money or finances or business that's occurring because of the signs that the Sun is in. Sun is in Taurus, a money sign of personal resources. Pluto, of course, has been in Capricorn, and Capricorn rules our goals and business-related energies. Also on Thursday the 19th, Mercury, which rules our mind or the mental realm, and it rules our thoughts, ideas, perceptions, information. It's currently retrograde right now, right? It went retrograde recently at 4 degrees of Gemini. It's still in Gemini on Thursday, the 19th, making a positive sextile connection to Jupiter, planet of expansion, that just went into individualistic, initiating Aries, confident Aries. And so there's an opportunity here with information or messages coming in that you might want to pay attention to on Thursday. On Friday the 20th is when the Sun is shifting out of Taurus and into Gemini, the twins, for the next month until June 21st, actually. So for the next month, the Sun is going to be in curious, message-oriented, information-oriented Gemini, which can kind of be a vacillating sign and looking, at both sides, and our mind is in many directions at once. And so it's not real great as far as grounding and focusing. On Saturday the 21st, the Sun in Gemini is now connecting to Mercury retrograde in Gemini. So there's a continuation of listening to, again, the messages that are coming in, paying attention to the communications that you might be having with others, or reaching out through networking in various forms to connect with others and communicate. And then on Sunday the 22nd, as we end the week, we have Mars again in Pisces. And it's going to be in a positive sextile to Pluto in Capricorn. So again, there's this opportunity to empower ourselves on some level, spiritually empower ourselves as we're moving forward, or at least trying to move forward. And, the better way to move forward with Mars and Pisces is through our imagination and through envisioning where we want to go once Mars moves into Aries, which will be, very soon. And also on Sunday, this is to top off the week here, we have Mercury retrograding back from Gemini and back into Taurus. So it's going to be spending a little bit more time now moving retrograde through Taurus. It is retrograde until the 3rd of June, retrograding back to the late degrees of Taurus. And then it'll hop back into Gemini after it moves forward on the 3rd of June, hops back into Gemini on June 13th, and a few more days after June 13th before it's completely out of its shadow. But now that Mercury is moving back from Gemini, information, sign of communication and messages, and moving back into Taurus, we might want to pay a little bit more attention to our personal resources like money and finances, our time, our efforts, the work that we're putting forth towards something. It's a great time to, again, revise, review, reevaluate, and all of those words. So I'm going to stay on camera here as we move into the messages from our angels and guides for the week. So we start out the week's message with the Eight of Summer. This is like the Eight of Cups in the traditional tarot. Now the number 8 is a number of empowerment, but also business, money, and finances. But it's in the suit of summer, which is the suit of cups. So we're dealing with empowerment on an emotional level. And we did have a couple of things involving Pluto this week, right? We had the Sun trine Pluto on Thursday, and we have Mars sextile Pluto on Sunday. So both of those are positive aspects, but this card actually says the desire for a more meaningful life. Well, that makes sense after this full moon lunar eclipse, right? That we're seeking something with more meaning. We're seeking a life of more meaning. Maybe it's a career with more meaning, situations with more meaning. This is meaning that we're feeling disempowered. The number 8, we might be feeling disempowered on an emotional level by either our own beliefs, our own emotions, our own energies, or the situations that we find ourselves in. So again, the desire for a more meaningful life, realizing that it's time to move on. And again, fits perfectly with the full moon lunar eclipse. Realizing that it's time to move on, choosing to make major life changes. Okay, so some of you may have for a while now been feeling like it might be time to move on from something and to make some sort of change or do some sort of redirection, to take back your power, to empower yourself once again. We have this fairy kind of walking this path, kind of going into, the woods, so to speak. But the sunlight, this is either sunrise or sunset. So the sun is setting on an old aspect of our lives, and it's going to be rising on a new aspect of our lives once we make those changes and redirections. Let's look at the next card. We actually have a total of 5 cards here that kind of came out for this week. So the next card is the Prince of Spring. In this deck, it's the Prince of Spring. This is a court card. In the traditional tarot, this is like the Knight of Fire, the Knight of Wands or Rods. And it says at the top, charming, self-confident, passionate, restless, okay? So the knights are kind of, they're not the most mature of the energies, because in the court cards you have the page, the knight, the queen, the king. So it's still kind of at that adolescent phase of maturity, and it's in fire, and fire is sometimes unpredictable, right? It's passionate, it's energetic, it's inspirational, but sometimes unpredictable. So again, charming, self-confident, passionate, and restless. At the bottom it says immediate action, a challenge you can successfully manage, and it does say a passionate relationship. So we started out with a Cups card, which can be about emotions and can be about a relationship. This card is coming in. There might be something to do with a relationship in your life, and this would be kind of making a quick and sudden change. Now, at the same time, it is Mercury retrograde, so you might be feeling the need or the desire to make a quick and sudden change in some way. But because it's Mercury retrograde, you might want to pause for a minute and take a little bit of time, reevaluate, just kind of reconsider what's going on, and take your time in making the decision, because by the time Mercury turns back to direct motion on the 3rd of June, there might be new information that comes in that helps you to better make the decision that's going to be best for you. What I notice on this card, though, is that the prince here, the fairy prince, is actually riding the back of a rabbit. And this is interesting to me because I've seen a couple of rabbits really recently. When I was on my trip to Myrtle Beach, I saw a rabbit near or on the beach, which I thought was very interesting and a strange place to see a rabbit. And then when I got back, within a few days of coming back here to where I live, I was taking a walk in the neighborhood and saw another rabbit. So, rabbit is definitely a totem for me, but rabbit, has a cycle, a fertility cycle of 28 days. And so the first thing I thought of when I saw this was that within 28 days, which is about a month, which is about the time that Mercury is going to go back to direct motion, you're going to see some sort of change, redirection, have an answer. There's going to be some sort of significant information that assists you in some way with perhaps confidently and passionately moving forward, or having access to new ideas or direction that's going to be helpful here for you. And again, it says immediate action, but I would say take a pause first a little bit, and within 28 days, that fertility cycle of the rabbit, that's when you might want to take the action. Now, there was a card that came out with this one. Let's see what that one is. Okay, it's interesting because now we have the Princess of Summer. So we had the Prince of Spring, the Princess of Summer. This is like the Page of Cups in the traditional tarot. So again, we're back to the emotions. And with the Princess, which is the Page, we're usually talking about messages of an emotional nature, or messages or communication or information coming from our relationships. And it says here, gentle, sensitive, kind, and inexperienced. And at the bottom, it says a new relationship or emotional experience. So again, we have this theme about relationships here. It says invitations to social events, a compassionate friend you can share concerns with. So this might be just a friend, someone, a family member, someone that will listen, someone that you can share what's happening in your life, whatever that might be, and maybe they can give you kindly, nurturing, guidance or advice on what to do. This can also mean, because we have the Prince and the Princess, is that we're needing to have some sort of communication here in our relationships. Now, whether that's a romantic relationship, a parent-child relationship, a family relationship, a friendship, and even a business association, it seems like we need to have this communication. But because it's the Princess or the Page and the Prince, which is the Knight, the two most, I don't want to use the word immature, but the two court cards that are the least mature in the tarot, I feel like we might need to have more than one conversation, or we might need to choose our words carefully and wisely, like meditate first, make sure you know what you're going to say, be compassionate, be loving, share your truth, but do it in a kind way. And maybe even, again, more than one conversation or communication throughout the Mercury retrograde cycle. And then by the time Mercury turns back to direct motion, we're having some sort of resolution, perhaps, to what's going on. Either that, or if you can, you might even choose to wait until Mercury goes back to direct motion to have a really big, important, life-altering kind of conversation here. Okay, so you'll know, what that means for you and how best to kind of work out that energy. This could also mean too that you're getting intuitive messages, like listen to your own inner intuition, the inner messages that you're getting from your higher self or from your angels and guides here. All right, the last card came out as two cards, so let's look at the first of those two cards. Okay, we have the Six of Winter here. This is like the Six of Swords, and as swords cards go, the Six of Swords is actually one of the positive ones, okay? And it says at the bottom, positive changes are on the way, a welcome relief from troubled times, traveling, or relocating. Okay, so this is about movement forward. In the traditional tarot, it's the Six of Swords, and it's usually moving forward. Now, that's where it can get into travel or relocation, but moving forward can also be just moving forward as far as a new perception, a new way of thinking, a new way of believing, a new belief system, a new way of seeing a situation in your life. Okay, again, that number 6 is a balanced number, so we're coming into balance and harmony with whatever the challenges are that have been going on, and positive changes, as it says, are on the way here. Okay, this is showing a ferry and a boat traveling across the waters, and you can see the waters are a little bit wavy, almost a little like it's windy out, and there's kind of this current going on. But the ferry is very calm, very peaceful. There's, kind of sparkly lights here all around, suggesting that you're divinely protected, divinely guided. Everything's moving along. It's going to be fine. Everything's going to balance out and be harmonious for you. Now, That might mean that you need to make some changes to bring things back into a harmonious balance for yourself. Or it could mean that whatever situations you're involved in, with or without other people, also may come around to be harmonious again. Again, it's, it depends on your own situation, your own astrological chart. Let's look at the last card here. Okay, the last card is Major Arcana 0, the Dreamer, which is the Fool card in the traditional tarot. Okay, and it says, embrace your true purpose. Begin a new adventure. Trust yourself. Well, beginning a new adventure, right? We just had a new moon solar eclipse, a full moon lunar eclipse, which brings intensified endings and beginnings that may still yet unfold for the next few weeks and possibly even few months ahead. So we're about to embark on a new path, whether that's like literally in circumstances and situations in our life, or whether that is embarking on a new path as far as how you perceive something or how you experience something through your own mind and heart and emotions. But you can see this fairy here at this kind of edge of the path, and as it gets closer to this door way back here in the distance, it doesn't, the fairy doesn't know what it's going to encounter along the way, but it's trusting and having faith. There's a little bird here kind of guiding the way, right? But the fool, the dreamer, has a dream, has a vision, and they may not know all the details of the dream and the vision, but they know kind of the big picture of it, how they want to feel and how they want to live their life and what they want to experience. So again, it says embrace your true purpose here. Embrace your true purpose, begin a new adventure, and trust yourself. So trust, again, going back to one of those earlier messages, is trust your own inner intuition. Trust what your heart is telling you. Okay, your mind and your heart may be at odds, so you're going to have to kind of go within, again, look at pros and cons, weigh these decisions during Mercury retrograde, have the communications and conversations that might be necessary. And in the end, you might be making a choice here to either move forward on a new path entirely in the situation you're in, or move forward as far as a new way of experiencing something or seeing something or feeling about something. Okay, it doesn't mean you have to drastically change the situation, but something needs to change in order for something to work better, be more smooth, balance out. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the special message card depending on your stone of choice. So again, let's show them to you one more time here. Got the red or peach selenite, got the Agni Manatite, and we've got the Synergy 7. Okay, so for those of you that chose that red or peach selenite, this is kind of a bigger deck, so I hope I don't drop anything here. So peach selenite, red selenite, special message of guidance for this week. This one's calling my attention here. Ooh, it says Chiron, guarded, wounds. Okay, well, we know Chiron in astrology is the wounded healer, shaman, and teacher. So this is bringing up, I think this lunar eclipse is bringing up some old wounds for you from this or previous lifetimes. Maybe feelings of not being good enough or not confident enough, or, there's a lack of self-worth, or why me, or the wounds could be anything. Could be about relationship, business, finance, your own sense of self, your identity, and you're feeling quite guarded. You're feeling kind of closed off here with this energy here. But we know Chiron again is not just the wounded one, but also the healer, the shaman, and the teacher. So there's an opportunity here this week to bring healing to those wounds. I mean, this lunar eclipse that we just had was in Scorpio, and that goes very deep into the psyche, deep into the subconscious, bringing up all the shadow aspects, fears, doubts, anxieties to be healed. So allow that healing to take place. Maybe invite in the healing if you can. And also call on your guides and the healers of the highest vibration of light, or look for some outside assistance to your healing process. There's plenty of healers out there in the world that would be happy to assist you on your Chiron healing journey. Okay, we're going to put this back in the deck just in case somebody else gets it. All right, for those of you that chose the Agni Manatite, special message for Agni Manatite. This one's calling my attention here. Disharmony, triggers, and conflict. Ooh. So again, this Scorpio eclipse is going much deeper than you might think it is, right? And just like the wave crashing on the shore, you might not feel it until this week or the next week, right, after the lunar eclipse. So there's either within yourself or in situations in your life, there's someone or situations that are triggering you, or again, well, usually it's an outside circumstance that's triggering, right? But it's triggering our own emotional, psychological, nature, those wounds that we have within ourselves. It's not really the other person necessarily. It's not really what's happening in the situation, but it triggers us in some way because of the old wounds. It brings in this sense of unbalance, and we're already feeling a disharmony within ourselves, and this disharmony might be triggering something on a physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual level. There's some sort of conflict that we're moving through here this week. So I would say do some self-care this week, get out into nature. Nature is very grounding. The sun still for part of this week is in Taurus, which is a sign of the earth, a sign of nature. Walk barefoot on the earth, or get your feet in the sand, or do some gardening, or work with some herbs, something that can help you to ground in the energy. And the earth also is a great kind of absorber and transmuter of the disharmonious energies that we're feeling. So this is something that I would say also, and again, just like the other card message, is to look for those that can help with the healing process as well. All right, for those of you that chose the Synergy 7, special message for Synergy 7 people. This one that keeps on, like I tried to put it back in the deck, it keeps on wanting to come up. Ooh, guilt and sabotage. Okay. So this lunar eclipse is really hitting everybody. So guilt and sabotage here we're dealing with. Again, old feelings, old wounds coming up. This is saying to not sabotage yourself, right? Don't get sucked into the drama of other people's stuff. Don't get sucked into your own drama. Take some time out. Ground yourself, meditate, take a healing bath. Again, all of these messages were really advising some downtime, some self-care time, some healing time for you. There's some old situations, and it could be from previous lifetimes as well. Maybe you're holding on to old guilt regarding something, a situation or a relationship. And again, it might not have any basis in this lifetime. This might be some past life thing, but where you keep on maybe kind of throwing the monkey wrench into things and sabotaging your own happiness and wellness and prosperity and abundance and whatnot. So we're needing to really kind of take the time, it seems like all of the stones here needing to take the time to bring in healing. I feel like we want an overall card message of a positive nature for this week, for everyone. Okay, let's take a look here and see if we can get a positive message for the collective, for everyone, for this week. Okay, well, this is the card that I just turned over. Healing the inner child. Wow, that's so fitting. Every single card that came out was kind of a heavy energy here. And this is getting in touch with your inner child. You can see the child in the mirror here. And bring healing, love, attention, support, respect, nurturing, you know. So I would definitely say take some time out for some self-care this week. Go get a massage, reflexology, have a healing bath, go for a walk in nature, take a day or two off by yourself if you can, take some time off work if you can. This is a time to really allow the healing to kind of settle in. And we have positive connections this week to bring in that supportive healing, right? The sun is trining Pluto, empowering. There's opportunities here to expand into our confidence and courage and power. So I think that the opportunities and support is there. We just have to take the time and give the focus and attention to our own inner child to bring about that healing that's needed. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this Empowered Moments video. Thank you so much for your love, support, care, attention, messages, comments. Sending you all lots of love and light and lots of healing energy as we move through this week. And many, many blessings to each and every one of you.